Hi Aquarius, I hope that you're all doing well. We are here with your reading, what you need to know for January. The first card that we have out is Nine of Pentacles, and we also have the Empress. Okay, with Nine of Pentacles and the Empress, I feel like you are breaking out of something. I'm saying that because the Nine of Pentacles in this deck always feels to me like transcending some type of cycle. See how there are those circles behind this person, but it looks kind of like they're stepping out of it, like on the way to stepping out. Like this leg isn't all the way out of this yet, but this one has kind of stepped out of it, and it feels almost like going from one cycle into something else, or like coming through a portal where it almost feels like this person is welcoming this new thing that they're stepping into. But I see this as being more of like an area of life. And then to have the Empress there, this is something that I feel like would really be feeling good for you. This is something that you have going on that you can see as being quite progressive. This is something that will instill a sense of empowerment within you too. So we're starting off the month immediately feeling like that. Feeling good about something here. Then we also have the Three of Swords, so that can be something challenging that you're dealing with. But I get this sense with Nine of Pentacles and the Empress as this is the part of you that can most easily deal with something challenging coming up, and so this doesn't feel overwhelming. And then I'm also seeing the Ace of Swords, which can even feel like a breakthrough that you're having within healing or addressing a difficult situation. I get this sense of Three of Swords is something that needs to be addressed. Having Nine of Pentacles and the Empress shows you being in the best place to address this. Because there can be times when things come up and it can feel like, oh, like I can't deal with this right now, or this is just feeling too much, or like now this or whatever else. Nine of Pentacles and the Empress feels like if there's an energy that you can channel that can deal with something like the Three of Swords, it's going to be this type of energy. And so having you be in that space, the Three of Swords doesn't feel like such a big, overwhelming thing. It's still going to be a thing. Like, it's still the Three of Swords, right? It can still be something difficult to work with. It can still be something where you know that healing is needed. Something has to be addressed. And at the same time, because you're bringing this energy to address this, to face this, I'm not seeing it be anything that stops you. And having that Ace of Swords can really show a breakthrough with something that maybe if you were coming through in a different place, it wouldn't be so easy to work with this. However, because we're seeing the Ace of Swords here, I definitely say that this is something that you're addressing it and you're working it through, and it doesn't look like it's giving you that big of an issue here. We also have the Magician. Nice. Magician and the High Priestess. This means your heart and your mind are going to be getting onto the same page. Like, there will be a lot of communication with that. So it'll be a conversation that you're having with yourself about how you're feeling, what you want to do, what your intention is here, taking all of the wisdom and the knowledge that you have to really properly assess what's going on, figure things out from there. What is my plan? What is the bigger plan? What can be possible in this situation? What's maybe unlikely? So those sorts of things where there are calculations that are being made, and you using the insight that you have in order to figure things out and plan the next steps that you are going to be taking. And there can be a lot of tuning in that's happening as well. Magician and High Priestess are not energies that are quick to do something before you've figured it out. These are energies that take time to really reflect, to tune in, to figure things out, to get in touch, and to even put things together and see stuff that may not be so obvious given this situation. Because of all of the balancing that this is requiring of you, you can feel pretty tired. So I'd say that a couple days into January, probably moving into at least mid-month, because of that Three of Swords there, which is something that is not functioning properly, that has to be addressed, and it can be something painful. It's going to be some type of healing, whether this be physical healing that's happening, or this be mental healing, or this be emotional healing, or it be spiritual healing, it be all of the above, it be some of them. Whatever this is, when we have that Three of Swords, it's something that it takes energy to be able to heal that. And because of that, Four of Swords below it is, or Four of Cups below it makes sense, because that can show feeling tired, feeling psychologically tired, feeling physically tired, feeling emotionally tired. And for some of you, this can also be something that's been an ongoing thing. We do, though, have the Ace of Swords here. And so I'd say that this can be something that you feel like you do make headway with. You can feel like you make progress with, and you can also feel like if something weren't really moving before, you can feel like now you actually do have that breakthrough. And it can be at a time where you could have been feeling like you don't know how much more energy you have to give to this. You can be feeling extremely drained, and then having that Ace of Swords feels like something that pierces through this. It's like being contained within something, and then the Ace of Swords coming through and sort of liberating you. This can also be something that you feel like kind of like messes up a big plan that you have, but I feel like it's actually more minute. But it may not feel like that when it happens. It can be something that, when it comes to the way that you like things to be and the right order, like things are supposed to be just so, or like this, like that, I feel like this is something that gets in the way of that. That's what I mean when I say it like sort of messes up a big plan that you have. Ten of Pentacles is feeling like when things feel like they're supposed to feel, this thing coming through sort of impedes upon that. So you know that you have to address it. You don't really have a choice. You can feel like ideally this wouldn't be happening, nonetheless it is, but it feels like it impacts something big that matters for you. And so I think that there's more of a motivation to address this. You can also feel like what's going on throughout this process is something that does require a lot of you balancing on your feet and not getting a lot of time to rest, to the point where you can start feeling lower and lower energy. But I'm just seeing this be more so in the beginning. I want to see the rest of what's happening, because this is feeling like a midway through. Okay, because of that, it looks like you're going to turn inward for a bit. You can keep more so to yourself. It feels like this is something that's building through up to and through mid-month. Four of Cups and Hermit is very much going into hermit mode, and then it's sort of going back to the drawing board here to be thinking about things, thinking about what you want. And I think so it can't be influenced by anyone else that may have a different agenda than you do. That Four of Cups and Hermit is going to be, okay, I need to recharge and I really need to turn inward right now, doing that. And then the Nine of Cups feels like what you want on a deeper level reveals itself to you, because you're connecting with that part of yourself. And then it feels like a game plan is then developed at that point. And you will know that this is right for you. Having High Priestess there feels like you being quite in touch and then being able to move forward. So Knight of Cups and Knight of Wands is you acting on what you want, you knowing what you want, and then acting on what you want. And when we have Knight of Wands, that also indicates you, that energy being there. So you go from feeling like I don't really have any energy right now. I'm not a huge fan of what's going on right now. This feels draining. This feels difficult, all of those things. Then I'm seeing there be like quite a breakthrough that you have wherever you'd been feeling stuck within the energy. This definitely moves you through that. I think that this is also a mental breakthrough that you have where you're seeing things clearly. Like your perception, this feels like a perceptual breakthrough that you have, and then it feels very obvious what you want to be doing, where you want to be going, what's what for you, and that being something that you've concluded, being something that you have gone on that journey to figure out what this is for you, and then you know how to move forward and you feel confident about it because you're the one that has concluded this. I think too that when you're going through what you're going through, it can feel big in the moment. I think when you zoom out, it's going to not feel like as big of a deal. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to be something that feels like a big thing when you're moving through it. It doesn't feel like the biggest thing in the world. It just feels like something that does have to be addressed. And I see even an epiphany that you're having as you're moving through it, and that epiphany organizes your next steps for you. It feels like a revelation is had, and then you know what to do moving forward. So I actually feel like this very much clarifies things for you. So there's something that's going on. It's kind of one of those times when you go through something that may feel more unpleasant to go through. At the same time, it clarifies things for you. So it gives you a sense of direction that you didn't have before, and so it gifts that is the gift that this gives you. I also don't necessarily see this as being something that's going to have to linger. It feels like this was meant to bring about more awareness for you. It just can come about in more of a way where it's like, I wish I could have had maybe a more desirable experience to give me direction. This can be one of those times where you learn from something that feels uncomfortable, or you learn from something that feels more painful. And also understanding too sort of how that comes about for you. But it can be kind of a, like, I don't know if shocking realization is the word. Like, I don't want to dramatize this, but I feel the sense of this bringing some really important things to light for you. And then that clarifying things moving forward. This is not just an epiphany that you have and then you're like, what am I supposed to do with this information? It feels like it clarifies things about your journey and what you want to be doing. And then it gives you, it's like all of that energy that you didn't have before. By the end of this, I'm seeing you be energized and you know what you're doing and what you want and where to be going. Like all of those things be clarified for you. So I do see some strenuous or more challenging stuff that happens in the middle all of this, but by the time we get to like, I'd say 2/3 through the month, you're going to feel like you have a sense of direction that you did not have before. You're going to feel like things are clear in a way that they were not before. And not only that, but you have the vision, and then I'm seeing action be taken on behalf of that. So it feels like the complete recipe for some type of outcome here. It's just moving through all of this to get to that point where you do feel like things have really been clarified for you in a very valuable way. Because these are the stepping stones of something quite important within your life. Do we want to clarify Three of Swords? Some of you, this can be, I feel like there's an emotional side to this. So I imagine for some of you, relationships may play a role As I'm saying that, the Lovers is what is clarifying the Three of Swords. I'm seeing the Star though, so that shows direction and healing that's happening. This can mean too that something very important is clarified within a relationship. Something as well that you can be experiencing is a lack of pleasure or enjoyment. Or you can feel less creative. You know, sometimes you feel that like in flow and overflowing with all of that. I think based off of this situation, it may be something that depletes that from you a bit, but then I'm seeing you be recharged by, it looks again like the final third of the month. It feels like things are very much back on track here. When something too gets in the way of what you want and what you like, I feel like that's kind of at the basis of this, of what's going on. It just maybe like this isn't my preferred experience to be having, and it being one of those times. This can be, I mean, because the Lovers was clarifying the Three of Swords, it can just be something painful that you go through within a relationship. But at the same time, I do get the sense of this isn't just something where it's like there's no solution, there's no progress. I'm seeing really important things be realized. So it's not just all an experience that you're having and then you don't know where to put this. It gives you direction, which is very valuable. It doesn't just like leave you without any sort of guidance. It gives you guidance. Okay. Nine of Pentacles, Four of Cups. You can feel tired of doing things on your own. You can feel like there's a lot of stuff that you are figuring out more solo. You can feel like because of a lot of things resting on you, because of a lot of things relying on you, you can feel like you don't have as much energy as normal. So something can require a lot of energy. Nine of Pentacles can be that more solo stuff that we have going on, seeing that be connected with Four of Cups. It can be something where like maybe you don't feel as inspired to be doing things on your own. Maybe you feel like I prefer some teamwork here, and that may not be what's happening. Or it can just be like I have to do this and I have to do that, and even though I know that I can do it and I'm seeing results and I'm seeing stuff happening, at the same time I'm feeling less inspired. But I think that this is about not about those things. I think that it's more about whatever this Three of Swords is. So whatever that thing is that's coming up, that's sort of draining some of your energy there, that can be why you're feeling like you have, I think that it kind of comes back to a feeling of being like maybe less inspired, or like you have less energy, or like you may feel like you're enjoying things a bit less than you normally would. It doesn't stay like that. By the last third of the month, you're not going to be feeling like that anymore. But yeah, you can feel kind of moody. You can feel kind of down. Beginning of the month, it feels like it intensifies like somewhere around the middle, just because of heavy emotional and psychological work that's being done. And then it feels like the battery pack is fully recharged by that last third of January. You can also feel too like you have to pick and choose what it is that you're giving your energy to as well. And like you do have multiple things on your plate, and you have to figure out if you have a certain amount of energy to give, it feels like having to figure out what energy and how much to give to what. And that's also something that may feel like you have to make more of a deliberate effort to do that, rather than it just feeling like it's in flow. Because something abnormal is going on here. This doesn't feel like your everyday stuff that's happening. Something comes up and it does take energy. And I feel too like it may it may pull from a source of energy that you normally have, and that may feel a bit undesirable. And that can also be cause for you sort of turning in more as well. That can be what precipitates that. At the same time, I feel like you have a breakthrough with that exact thing. I get the sense as well that there's a willingness to look at something that it may be difficult to look at, but you know too that with the Three of Swords, when there's something that you are healing, if you don't look at it, you can't heal it. And so you have to look at it, because that's a step that is necessary in order for you to heal something. So as much as we're talking about looking at the Three of Swords, and that can be something that's painful, that's a step in the direction of healing. So keep that in mind as well. Like that has to happen in order for us to heal something. So it's not just like, this is unpleasant and then there's no reward. It's like the reward is that this is a step and you're going to heal through this. So that's something that's happening as well. That's indicated by this process too. And on an emotional level, I feel like things become very clear, very apparent about what you want. So there's not a feeling, by the last third of the month, there is not a feeling of indecision at all. There is a feeling of clarity, and it feels like there's a game plan, and it feels very much like you are ready to get moving with things and ready to move forward and feeling confident within that. And you're going to feel like there's that connection. It's like something that gets plugged back in and then the wheels start moving. Like being back on in some way. And that feeling cohesive too. All right, my friends, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.